Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? It is good to see you. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Joppa. Thank you so much for being here today, hanging out with me and the rest of the community. It is good to see you. And man, has it been a week? Has it not been a week? Wow. Good stuff. So most of you are aware that we went into early access not too long ago, eh? And, I definitely was trying to keep expectations low. And I mean, not super low, but low. And I've got to say, I mean, my expectations have absolutely been blown out of the water. Even if I hadn't lowered my expectations, I still am amazed at what we're seeing. The game has been trending steadily upward in terms of concurrent players on Steam. Many of you have been seeing me post some of these things. We passed 3K. I think what's the highest I've seen? And I'm not keeping like perfectly constant tabs on it, but the highest I think so far, hold on. Oh, let's see. 3136. Highest concurrent on Steam. Now, and to be clear, that's Steam, right? So we have all of our other players as well, all of our other pledgers who have pledged to the game, at any point along the way, are also playing as well. So those Steam numbers are in addition to all of the other concurrent players that we have that are not playing through Steam. So it's absolutely amazing. It's been so amazing to see, so exciting. We've had a couple of other big, things coming along this week. I know we had kind of an initial early take from MMORPG.com on Pantheon. I believe that there's the rest of that review, the final review, forthcoming. And then I did an interview with them, I think at the end of last week, that may be coming out soon as well. And that was really good. It was really good to be able to connect with MMORPG.com and kind of, I don't know, try and, it's the first time I've been able to talk to one of them directly. So it was good to connect a little bit on just what we're doing and what we're about here. And we had the Lazy Peon just put out an initial thoughts video, I believe yesterday. We'll probably watch some or all of that on stream today and just kind of react to it a little bit with you all. But yeah, I mean, it's just really great. And I want to thank you all again so much for the support, for giving the game a chance, especially for those of you who've been waiting a really long time. I mean, my goodness, it means a lot. And I hope that this process, that these milestones, this moment for all of you feel kind of like a vindication of your trust, and will be kind of the beginning of, a good, healthy, exciting, energized phase here as we take it the rest of the way to launch. I just really appreciate it so much. And I'm speaking on behalf of the whole team here. Like, we're nothing without you guys. So thank you so much for all the support, for just continuing to blow our expectations away. It's just been amazing. And to all the haters out there, to all the people who are not quite there yet, I I want to say that I value you as well. The critical voices, the naysayers, like my goal is to still win you over, not through words, but through the game. And there is nothing but a warm welcome to you should the day come where Pantheon convinces you that it's a game worth playing. So again, thank you all so much for everything. I want to take a quick second and just say hello. Lots of people here hanging out. We've got Fluffy Wuffy. We've got Vasher, Rourke, Artemis Force, Oni, Grom, Calico, Similin, Enoch, Ingle, Ogre2, Sweeto. We've got Let You Live, Colonel Fouts, Kronzik, Black Fox, Salted Hash, Joskar, Nerdo, love the 2000s worship service music. I mean, that's not at all what I was going for. That's actually the song at the beginning is a song that I did for a financial company that was wanting to be a little bit more, I don't know, wanting to have a little bit more of a personal flair to it. And it without explaining what the video was, it was music that I did put to a video for them. And without really going into detail of what it was, it ended up just being a song that I kind of liked and thought it'd be cool to use some of my own music for the channel. But appreciate it. You did start it with I Love, so hopefully that means you like it. Okay. Tripwire, Dwarfman, welcome. JDon, what is going on? Too Tired to Care. Joppa, where the patchy patch at? I am almost done. They're kind of waiting on me at this point. So I talked to Sam earlier today, said, hey, by this afternoon, evening, should be ready for a data patch. We'll keep you posted. So I'm thinking it will still be today. Today or tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure it'll be today. And I'll go over, some of what to expect with that here in a sec. Hail Geezer, welcome. And thank you so much for the Prime sub and the 5 months of support. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Trexid, what is going on? Campfire Cat, welcome. Epic Fail, good to see you. Chewy Games, welcome to you. Just Let Me Play hype as well. Goes both ways. Welcome. Good to see you. Ianidin, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much for the 5 months of support. Really, really appreciate it, guys. Grizzle, welcome. Good to see you. Kuros, in the house. EQOA Nostalgia. Hey, it's my first Joppa stream. EQOA, I've seen several of your YouTube videos. Welcome. Good to see you. Nug, welcome. Let's see. Redbeard, what is going on? JDon with the raid. Sorry, I'm just reading some of this. JDon, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, viewers. Good to see you. B-Floor, good to see you. I am excited for Christmas. I am very excited. My family's super excited too, to get some time with me and I with them. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about that. Pretty pumped. I'm just going to be coming back super charged up too, though. So that's the other thing to be prepared for. Because, man, yeah, I'm going to be excited to hit it hard. Mama Woes, good to see you. Super nice guy. Welcome, and thank you so much. Loving the game, boss. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Where's my present? Hey, Mr. Zeke. Good afternoon to you as well. I used to take Shaolin Kung Fu, and we did that quite a bit. Actually, I honestly can't even remember. There's a difference between like a closed hand and a hand that's up, and I can't remember which one is the right one to do when you're bowing to a superior rank or a master. I can't remember. So if there are any of you out there, I apologize if I have offended with my hand placement. But it's good to see you, Mr. Zeke. I've been enjoying your streams as well, man. Really cool to see you playing the game, and knowing your MMO background. It's been really cool to see you play the game and resonate with it, and awesome feedback. So I'm going to give a quick shout out to Mr. Zeke If you haven't had a chance to check out his channel yet, it's been really, really good stuff. Hopefully that worked. But very good stuff. Very good stuff. Hey, can you tell the mods on Steam to unban me for bumping my review video this morning? I will try. Yeah. I'm not sure how all the Steam moderating stuff works, but I will definitely pass the message along. Hey, thank you, Space Marine. Appreciate that so much. Hey, Tobruk. Kingdom Thrill, welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out. It is truly, truly appreciated. Truly, truly appreciated. All right, let's see. We got a lot of activity going on here. I don't want to miss this stuff either, so let's see what we got going on. What do we have going on here? All right. Chronic TV, thank you so much for the follow. Nerdo, thank you for the follow as well. Theldrin84, in case you're watching. Sherman's Gaming and PKB369, thank you all so much for the follows. Animander, thank you for the follow as well. It's Gray, Brunts, super nice guy, and Andromeda Blackfire, Holgar, thank you all for the follows. Freak on Albash, I think is what that says. Nice name. Thank you for the follow. Alk as well. Jordanox, thank you for the follows. KC7, thank you for the follow. Bad News Brian, 8-bit, or no, Bad News Brian, Departure Exist, Jossus Death Touch, Obas, Guargi, Doc MMORPG, Zazar, Raydil, Space Marine 55, Sly X, Killwraith, Corey Trevor Corey, Now Gaster Bias, Lady Lionetta, Sheriff's Neck, EQOA, Nostalgia, Bayushi123, The Moose Nose, and Lumbee Fruit Loop. Thank you all so much for the follows. Thank you for being here, supporting the channel. I appreciate that big time. Big time. And then let's see, we've got Valorant with the community sub. Thank you so much. And J Dion with the 10 gifted. You guys are absolutely epic. Thank you so much for that. Vadex, thank you for the Prime. Tripwire55 as well with the Prime. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 200 bits, Burns. Hey, Joppa, I did a cohort back years ago. I'm so pumped with what you guys have released as a software engineer. Myself in the field over 10 years, I can tell how hard y'all are working. Keep it up. I am QAing and EA as much as I can. Thank you for that. And reporting bugs on Discord. Love you. Thank you so much, Burns. That's really, that's really cool. It's cool to hear perspectives from people that do this kind of thing for a living and are very familiar with the process. Really appreciate that message. And thank you for those bits. And thank you for the Prime sub as well. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. I see those bits from Calico and Burn as well with the hype. Torvius, thank you for the 100 bits. Thanks for all the hard work, sir. You are so welcome. It is our pleasure and our joy seeing you guys enjoying what we're working on so much and contributing so much feedback. It's amazing. 8-bit Lungs, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Rakeseal, thank you for the tier 1 and the 2 months of support. It is very appreciated. Super nice guy with the Prime. Thank you so much. Gar, the Dark Myrrh with the 10 gifted. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is amazing. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Let's see. Hold on, I got a window popping up over here. Okay, we're back. Yeah, thank you so much, Gar the Dark Myrrh. Valorant with the 12 gift bomb. Thank you as well, Valorant. Woo, thank you so much. That is amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Departure Exist with the Prime. Thank you so much. Burns with the 5 gifted. Valorant with another gifted sub. You guys are absolutely Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 1,000 bits, Holgar. Tenants are supreme. They are indeed. And you know what? As the community is growing, as more and more of you are playing, please feel free to comment and give feedback on that. Do you feel like, from your perspective, as you're playing the game, do you feel like the tenants are intact? Do you feel like the tenants are being honored? It's not. It's been an interesting journey, like finding the balance between respecting those tenants, treating them as actual tenants and pillars of the game, and yet finding some of those evolutions into kind of the modern day game experience. Not only with the goal of satisfying the community of relatively, as Brad used to say, kind of the orphaned players who have wanted a game like this for so long, but also opening the door a little bit more to people that may have just bounced off of this type of game because, of it feeling antiquated or it lacking a lot of some of the modern accessibility and various things. Our hope is that it's doing both of those things well. So would love, always interested in feedback on that front. Verdict Asen with the 1,000 bits. Thank you so much. I finally made it to another stream. Merry Christmas, my dude. Thanks for trying to slide another patch in under the wire. You're a soldier. You are so welcome. Thank you so much for being here too. And Merry Christmas to you as well, man. Thank you. Joss's Death Touch with the tier 1. Thank you so much, Joss's. I hope you guys like Metroid sound effects because I play them a lot as thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Rourke with the Prime and the 7 months of support. Thank you so much, Rourke. That's awesome. It's amazing that I've been doing this long enough to start getting into like 7, 8, soon 9 months. And some of you have been here from literally like stream number 1, which is amazing to me. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Chewy Games, for the 200 bits. Appreciate that. Rich with the Prime. Thank you so much, Rich. Christmas cheer for all tournaments with the 500 bits from Verdict. Thank you, Verdict. Thank you. Calico with the 100 bits. You rule Joppa. Keep beating Brighter Shores. Sad you're beating an old EQ dev with your game. I have a feeling Brighter Shores has a very bright future too, for sure. I'm excited to see them keep working on and developing that game. That game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun once they, just like I'm same boat we're in, just getting various things dialed in. It's coming along nicely. Radial, hey Joppa, when you changed the blood touch and made damage, it messed up. Are you saying that blood touch is now not doing a lot of damage, so it's not healing for a lot? Can anybody else confirm that? Scepter 82, Thompson Brood, Tuvile, Janoko, and Ridamok. Thank you all so much for the follows. Appreciate you being here. It heals full, but it doesn't do damage to match the heal. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yes, Madarin does have the same experience as Helnir. It is itemized. Actually, I'll do a double check just to make sure that it's itemized appropriately, but it's not itemized in the same way. It's not going to have as many of the same like uncommon drops. But with this new patch that's coming in, I'm not finished. It's going to take a little while still, but I've started layering in some of those uncommon drops to solo NPCs as well. In fact, this patch, a lot of what this next patch, like today, hopefully today, maybe tomorrow morning, is going to do is start kind of exploring some expanded solo non-group NPC content. And with the experience changes that are coming, both in the bump to solo experience XP, it's very, very small, so nobody get concerned. It's very small, and it's primarily more in how the solo experience modifier now is ramping up a little bit as it gets higher level, because the problem before is not so much that solo experience at low levels was bad, but as you started getting into, around level 10 and certainly up through the teens, the solo experience was kind of falling off a cliff. So the dual way we're approaching that right now is providing a little bit of a ramping modifier to solo experience as the NPCs get higher level, but also the consideration or the con level of the NPC and the experience that they give, those changes as well. Unfortunately, the patch today is just a data patch. It's not an actual like code and client update patch. I'm not saying that exactly right. I would need someone from the tech team to explain it, but it's data patches are much easier for us to do. Well, they're both easy to do, but data patches are just quicker, require less turnaround and kind of less prep, essentially. And being as close to Christmas time and having some people already kind of taking their time away and resting, the data patch is going to be the one we're going to get out today. So all that to say, the changes to the consideration amount of experience are not going to be going in today. I'm 99% sure, but the expanded like solo NPCs, and I'll give you some examples. First of all, Rourke with the 5 gifted. Thank you so much, Rourke. Valorant with another gifted sub. You guys are blasting ads like crazy today. That's amazing. Blame Razel, thank you so much for the Prime as well. I blame Razel. Belzyra and Cryon34, thank you all so much for the follows. And Sawbones with the follow as well. Thank you. So to kind of talk through what you can expect here, give you some ideas. The hobgoblins around Throne Fast are now solo NPCs. The undead camps in AVP are now solo NPCs. And that's, again, specifically the ones in AVP. I haven't changed anything with the Throne Fast undead, lower level undead camps, but in AVP, during the daytime, the undead was solo, and then at nighttime they would convert into group NPCs. But now day and night are both solo. The trappers and the shady outdoorsmen and the wayward trappers have been moved back to solo. In Wild's End, a lot of the low level undead has been changed to solo. So the corrupted feral bones and why can't I think of the name of the other one? The corrupted feral bones, the sinister feral bones, those have been moved over to solo. The starving feralings that roam around have been moved to solo. And the Morvaki have been moved to solo. I'm trying to think if I've make sure I haven't missed anything else. The other important piece of info with that is I've started incorporating on all the things that I just mentioned, that uncommon itemization as well into those NPCs that have been changed to solo. So now those exist as, and Larks the weaponsmith and his camp of Gadai have been changed to solo. And one of the last things I'm planning to do today on my list with this stuff is, you've got like Gadai country in AVP, which is kind of the larger sprawling Gadai camp. That's going to stay group content, but the little tents kind of on the perimeter of that, I'm going to change those over to solo bandits. So the idea here is just to increase and honestly get some feedback on how increasing the amount of humanoid NPCs that are able to be soloed or done with small groups are going to feel, and then providing an itemization path with those as well. Because it's one thing to have more NPCs to solo. It's another thing if they're actually able to, rarely, but they're able to drop, some of that uncommon gear that we've introduced. So I'm really excited to see how that change feels. Because again, Pantheon is and will always be a group-centric game. That is a fundamental tenet. It's a fundamental pillar. That's never going to change. But as I've said, we want to make sure that players who cannot find groups, who enjoy just how soloing is in Pantheon, enjoy the solo play, that they have options. That's the ideal scenario, is that solo players have options. They have, means of progression, but they're incentivized still to get into groups and do group content because they want to see, all that the game has to offer. They want to try for, powerful loot, in various places. And so I think it's going to be good. Jabroni, I think the solo NPCs actually fit really well for duo and trios too. Because it's a difference in efficiency. Even though the NPCs can be soloed, you can do those NPCs much more efficiently, and you can handle a denser camp with a duo or a trio. And that's the other thing that I've done too a little bit with the trappers and the undead, especially in AVP, is I've upped the density of those areas a good bit. So you should see a lot more NPCs spawning over there. And these are all things that, just based on feedback, you guys playing the game, you guys talking about the game, that's all just helping us make these macro and micro decisions, because you guys have your finger on the pulse. It's awesome. It's awesome. Heartstock, Xavier 2K6, Werg, Nebu Zadezar. That's a cool name. Thank you all for the follows. Thanks so much. Nerdo with the Prime, and my boss with the Prime. Thank you so much for the Prime subs. 20 bits from Holgar. In my opinion, you should be able to craft. You should be able to craft to level 5 in all crafts. Once you have a feel for what you like or want, spend a token to start your apprenticeship in that craft. That's an interesting idea. I need one of the emotes that I need to get is a yellow notepad emote. I need an emote artist. Like, I've said it a couple times now, like leading up into the Christmas the holiday season coming up. Like, I want to spend some time thinking about this channel, improving this channel. I've got a lot of ideas on how to continue to just make this experience better. And one of the things I need to do is improve the way my my alerts are, and update all of them and get them working. But man, it'd be really cool to have some custom made emotes and other things for this channel. That'd be so fun. That would be so fun. Cryon, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Craft Thor, thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate that big time. Give us over Ogre Ranger. Ooh. Yeah, rack and emote, that'd be cool. I mean, there's so many cool emotes we could do in relation to Pantheon. That'd be really, really fun. Reach out to Co. Does Co do emoji art? Co has an amazing artist. I mean, Co's whole team is amazing. Joppa streams, follow engaged. Follow engaged. Did I see the Lazy Peons video on EA? What's your thoughts after hearing his point of view? We're actually going to watch that here together here in a second. Yeah. I really think focusing on tutorials is going to be important in building a larger community, perhaps 2 sets of tutorial overlays, one that is more in-depth and one that helps MMO vets quickly get through the UI. I agree. I agree with that. Talk to Tangent, his wife does emotes? Okay. Thank you for that. The Joppa React streamer arc. Any word on getting more group content in Wild Zen between 14 and 18? The Brian scale experience falls off quickly at 14. The Iron Root Orcs actually are a pretty solid group camp in Wild's End. So I would seek those out. And that's another thing I'm doing today is getting those, the density of those up a little bit. They're not Hangor Scouts anymore. That's been fixed. Or I've fixed that in preparation for the next patch. They should start at level 16 as of this next patch, I should say. Let me rephrase what I said. After this next patch, the Iron Root Orcs will be a great option for that. Sorry about that. Ghostly Gopher, what is going on? How about we get Charm in the game for your birthday? First of all, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. Is it a spell level? That's the important question. Is it a spell level? The invisible wall in the Mouth of Mad Run and blocking the other Trapper Cave, both of those have been fixed. But that's a good example of the difference between a data patch and a code client patch, in that that's not going to be rolling out to you guys today. That'll have to wait, unfortunately, until that next patch. Joppa means ass in Russian. I've been told that. Yeah. It's funny too, because people have asked me, like, what is Joppa? Like, where did you come up with that? What does that mean? For those of you that don't know the story of how I got on this team in the first place, I had just quit teaching. I've been a musician most of my life. I wanted to get into composing, and I had read a blog on digital composition and like how to get into the industry, how to break in. And the main thing that I read from multiple sources was look for a video game company that's early enough where they haven't found a composer yet, but that's far enough along that they would actually be interested in one, and see if you can find something like that, and then just do whatever, like offer to do whatever, you know? So I read that, literally, kid you not, like a week later, I, on a whim, went to Brad McQuaid's website. It just popped into my head. This is in 2013. So this is years after Vanguard, years after I'd kind of moved on and stopped following, Sigil or Brad or Vanguard or anything like that. It randomly popped in my head. I was in my studio, back when I had a recording studio, and went to his website and saw that Pantheon was a thing, saw that they were looking for volunteers. And so I composed a couple pieces of music and sent them in, and the rest is history. Hey, Adarax. Hey, good to see you. Are you from, wait a sec. I recognize your name. Why do I know your name? Hold on. Are you from Sir Thomas? Sir Thomas's channel? Welcome. Anyway, the point of the story I was telling was when I created an account to get like a forum account so I could post the music that I had made as just to the community to say, hey, don't know if you guys are interested in music or anything like that, but I have a couple of songs I made. I had to set up a forum account, and I was so like, it was so serendipitous. Having just read that blog, seen this, like I was in this just like in fever mode of like trying to do all this as quick as I could. And so I'm sitting there looking at the account name, and for whatever reason, Joppa just pops into my head. I've had characters named like Tapa and Joppa and Kappa and like various things throughout my MMO time. So it was just like latently in my head from somewhere, and it just popped in my head. That's the name I chose. There's literally nothing exciting. There's no like, it's not on the Eridune level, you know. It's just what popped into my head that day, and it just kind of stuck. So anyway, I did not know at the time that it meant ass in Russian. I guess that's what I'm ultimately trying to say here. And as usual, I said it very succinctly. But, you know, like they say, you can't choose your parents, and you can't choose what your game handle means in Russian. So like the two like immutable things in life. That's funny. Yeah, Cryon, we are. We are doing our best, man. We noticed you didn't change it or find that out. Well, I didn't find that out until like way down the line. I definitely would have changed it had I heard sooner. But it was like years where I just saw on a random YouTube video somebody commenting like, "Hey." And they asked, it was funny to me because they told me what it meant, and then they asked me to change it. Like, "Hey, can you change your name? This is what it means in my language." I was like, "Bro, you're like 4 years too late on that." Oh, Vash means your? Interesting. Man, I'm just winning. Winning. That's funny. Cryon34, thank you so much for the tier 1. Craft Thor, thanks for the prime. Laydil, thank you so much for the tier 1 and the 5 months of support. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Mevidim with the prime, thank you so much. Ghostly Gopher, you've been here for 8 months. I forget that sometimes. You've been here from the beginning, man. Thank you so much. Ghostly Gopher, the connection you and I have, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, is being queso fans. I'm a big queso fan. In fact, Joppa, for the hype emote, you could make a Racken holding the hype. Oh yeah, Alana, that's a cool idea. I like that. I've scoured Eastern and Silent Plains for mobs to duo at level 25 plus, and there seems to be nothing available. When do you plan to expand the non-Chevron mob? I know I keep saying this, but it will prove true when it happens. With the patch coming out today, I have done a pass on Eastern Plains and did a pass on Silent Plains. There were a lot of mobs in Silent Plains that were set to be group NPCs that should not have been. And then there were quite a few balance issues as well with like the auto attack damage they were doing, some of the ability loadouts that they had. There were some faction issues. So I've gotten a lot of that cleaned up too. And those are things that will be less like in your face changes, but they'll like all of the population in those zones with the upcoming patch should feel a lot more cohesive, I guess I should say. Yeah, fixed. I fixed a lot of the loot tables as well. Where I mean, there were a lot of things that had like Toad loot tables on them, and like Spark Toad loot tables and Spark Toad ability sets and stuff. Lots of overlap between EverQuest players and Queso fans. Really? I mean, Queso's one of those streamers that I started watching because I'll find someone that I feel like is, appropriate for my kids to watch. My oldest is 14, and I've got two younger than that. And he's one that I found that was like, man, I like this guy. I like his energy. I like his, he's just, it's a wholesome, hilarious, super entertaining streamer. But it's one of those where watching it like with my kids, I became a huge fan. So I listen to Queso while I work constantly. Just got him on the side monitor. Like, because of the Gen Z humor. I love Gen Z humor, I feel like I have a healthy understanding, appreciation of the distance that I need to keep from it. Like, I don't want to wade into it too much myself. I would like to, but I don't. But I appreciate it. And I feel like to the degree that it's like learning a second language, which is not that intense, but I feel like I understand it well enough that I can appreciate it. Vodka Soup, are you planning to do a character wipe before full release? That is the plan right now. For those of you who are wondering, the plan is that we would do a wipe before 1.0 releases. And we are doing and we'll do everything in our power to avoid wiping between now and then. But I also said that one of the things we're discussing and one of the things that we're going to be trying to finalize in the new year, kind of because we always have a little bit of a planning period at the beginning of the new year. And that planning period is especially important now because that's when we will establish our roadmap, our public-facing roadmap, and have that out there for everyone to know exactly the things that are coming. We want to get back into, as much as we can, the seasons format where you guys knew beforehand what we were working on and what was coming up next. But that's one of the things we'll be finalizing then is the potential of having early access servers that persist through 1.0. It's a possibility. I don't know that we'll do that. I would say if I had to put like a percentage on it, I would say the chance that we'll do that is lower than the chance that we'll just do a clean wipe for everybody, because there's good and bad. There's good and bad to both, but I think it would be healthier for the game and the population of the game for there to be a clean slate. But we're gonna discuss it. Boars are group mobs in Hangor. You're talking about the North Tusk boars? That's because they're on the North Tusk faction. They're like a part of the orc population. Summoner cannot heal in combat. What do you mean? We could in the EQ era. Are you talking about your pet? Heal your pet? Really looking forward to the water exploration stuff you talked about a few streams ago, but fishing is my favorite. Oh, yeah. Any word on how that is coming along? Also, should I save a token for that? I don't think you need to save a token for fishing. No. Fishing's more of a gathering type thing, and I'm pretty sure that's open to everybody. And as far as timing, I don't have an ETA on fishing yet. I just know that with swimming and water volumes now in and working, that was kind of the prerequisite. So, yeah. Beeflore, I noticed Cosmic full wipe for everyone, please. I feel like not wiping would create a huge divide. I think so too. That's kind of where I land, just so you guys know. Yeah, I think it's going to be important. And yeah, having a full wipe before release also allows us to hold off on things that we might want to wipe for along the way as well. Because we can always know that there is a point at least coming where it'll all kind of be clean again. B Flora, I was starting to read your. I noticed a huge topic on the forums, and I'm curious at what your plans are when it comes to the character models. I don't know that I'm aware of it. Which one are you talking about? Which thread? Burns, that's a great point. The disparity between the weather and the different zones. I think there's an issue right now too, where like the time of day is different between the zones, so that shouldn't be a thing. But yeah, when we get to the point where we're ready to, some of you guys may not even be aware of this, that Pantheon is going to be in a seamless world, a seamless overland world. That's been the plan for a while now. We have the infrastructure to do that. It's just the few remaining touches, and we've just kind of put that off, in favor of other priorities, because it's not a game breaking priority. It's more of a, in some ways, it's kind of a polish point in a way, but especially considering that a lot of the tech's there already. But yeah, we've got some work to do to polish up the some of that communication between zones in terms of like making sure night and day stay synced. I'm not sure with weather how we're going to handle that. It might just be one of those things where, because right now our weather isn't localized, so it's kind of a zone-wide thing, and so defining like where that would stop could get a little tricky. So we might always keep that, because even though the world will be seamless, there will still be the semblance of zones. Even though you won't hit a loading screen, you're still under the hood. You'll still be moving from Throne Fast into Avenger's Pass, and I think probably having weather still kind of contained within that zone framework is going to be good. Rubikai, we're about 25 people right now, and several of those. The question was how many people are in the Visionary Realms team. We're about 25 people right now as a whole. That includes management. That includes marketing, communications. That includes programming, design, art, community relations stuff like tech, the whole nine yards. And quite a few of us are part-time. And to their credit, just by the way, those who are part-time, or at least like, on part-time payroll, work the equivalent of more than full-time on this project. It's amazing to me. It's insane how hard they work. Any idea when Archive will be worked on? No. And that's like the race that we're going to work on next and get implemented next is actually part of the top of the year discussions we're going to be having. What's up, Clock? Good to see you. Tumin, there are plans and desire to bring on more programmers. I would love to have at least two more programmers. One that is at least one dedicated to gameplay, a dedicated gameplay programmer that doesn't have to share any time between, architecture or anything like that. That's literally there to like, okay, we're implementing a class. Okay, we're implementing a new disposition, a new trait. Just there to just focus on that. Okay, Beeflore, I'll check out the message here in a bit. Yeah, Drake, and we're gonna probably reduce the overall rate of skill gain for things like that. I agree with you. Can I be paid to play the game and give feedback? The torch slot be added soon. Yeah, yeah, that's not too far off. Steve, it's already on Steve's list, his short list of things to work on. We've got item linking. We've got items disappearing during combat animations. We've got the changes to light sources, and then updates to the group frames, making them a little larger, getting rid of the like having only health and mana, changing the layout of the buffs and debuffs a little bit just to make the group frames much easier to see. Those are kind of the top 4 shortlist things I know that Steve has right now. Shorts. Please tell me when we can move items. Yeah, Felden, the spell book needs some attention as well. Like I really want the spell book to just be completely revisited. We originally had a spell book. Like I don't even know if I can find it. Hold on one sec. I'll hide my screen real quick. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to look for it. But we used to have a completely different look to our spell book. That was more of like a page-based spell book that you turn the page and being able to like actually categorize things based on whether it's an action bar thing or a utility or a. I've been seeing a lot of feedback on that. There are so many improvements to the UI that we need to do. Like it's a whole. We could spend a whole stream talking about it. Bow staffs are kind of like I don't know. They're pretty janky right now. No plan for mastery in the near future. In fact, so I'll say that don't look for mastery until every class is in the game and they are fully kitted out up to at least up to 40. That will be your sign that mastery may be soon coming. I want to get all that in first, have all that data, all that framework. Is it still the plan to replace the 3 distinct action bars? I wouldn't say it's the plan. It is an option. It's something that we may do. And once we get into the new year, we'll probably devote some more time to talking through that and how that could look. Because when we do our UI overhaul, we need to make some pretty hard and final decisions about how we want all this to work together. And I really like the LAS. I really think the limited action set's important for our game. But we've got to land on some good ways to depict it to the player, and we have to make sure whatever we do that it's just really easy to understand. So the additional freedom of being able to move your spells anywhere you want and not be restricted to like certain parts of the UI. Like that's cool. As long as it makes sense, as long as it makes sense to the player. Wait. Yeah. We'll get there. We will get there. Hi, Wirekin, Kays and I, Zindir, Washed Up Na, BBGG, Eldaria Thuck. That's how you say that. Serial Freak, Rubikai, Malefic, Sekraz, Functional Parrot, and Vidrana. Thank you all so much for the follows. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the 100 bits, Burns. Are the old rewards like the nameplates, physical items, etc. still planned? Yes. Also, I hear rumors that there is talk of free to play with cosmetic shop or sub model being considered. Is that true, or are y'all sticking to subs? The plan right now is definitely sub, from my understanding. Now, I've said this many times. I have an invitation to that side of the house to kind of walk in the room and sit down at the table whenever, when it comes to, plans for like revenue and kind of the business side of things. I tend to not go there. I tend to try and keep my mind, because I have very strong feelings and opinions on things, and I tend to try to focus on the creative side of things as much as I can. So my understanding and what I think we should do is have a sub. Now, well, okay, we've got ads. I'll wait to talk about this until ads are done. I'll wait until ads are done. I need a better, like, how do I know when you guys are done with ads? Because I'm a pro streamer and I should know these things, right? There's a window that shows up on my chat that says ads have started. Oh, wait. No, that's not it. Oh, no, maybe it is. There's that. Yeah, no. There's a window that pops up that tells me that ads have started, but there's an ad schedule that tells you how much is left. See, like, I didn't see anything that told me ads were finished. Maybe I just don't have that on my quick actions. Maybe I need to add that. I don't know. I'll do this later. I need to get on a call with Redbeard Flynn and Joskar and Trexid and have like a streamer boot camp. And Mr. Zeke too, apparently. Thank you, Mr. Zeke. I appreciate that. The revenue of this channel goes to me. Yeah, it goes to me. And all of my equipment, my computer, my, every bit of money that I spend on this stream or spend on needing to stream, the work that I do, the time that I spend, outside of like in free time doing this, it's all on me. Is there any way we can make the game less addicting so I don't feel like I'm going to lose my cushy work from home job? Man, I got bad news. Packhat, because the goal is to make it even more addicting. The goal is to make it even better than it is. So I don't know what to tell you. Cletus! Hey, Cletus. What is up, man? Thank you so much for the raid. And welcome to new viewers. Welcome in. Welcome. For those of you in my community that don't know Cletus is an awesome streamer. I've really enjoyed watching him. He's done some Pantheon streams recently. Just started doing some of those, but been playing some Ashes, and I really enjoy watching Cletus stream. Like, I love his commentary. He's got just a super friendly voice, a super friendly persona, and just kind of energy. It's really been a joy to watch him play, and so please give him some love, give him a follow. I'm excited. I'm hoping to see him play in some Pantheon again soon, because it's been really fun seeing. Mr. Zeke also is part of that group. So the Mr. Zeke I shouted out earlier, they're all just really great guys, and they're good players. It's really been a joy. Really been a joy. Yeah, Scala, you're not wrong. That's going to be pretty interesting. If all three of them, Pantheon, AOC, and Eminem, stay kind of like on schedule, yeah, it's going to be pretty wild to see all that hit. B-Floor, when are you streaming again? Are you streaming today? Are buddy keys working? I don't think they're working yet. No. Can't get my friend's account working. Says that the email and key aren't compatible when they are for sure correct. Yeah. I don't have an update on that either, and I hate it. What I have said is, like, please be patient. Please do not wait for the buddy keys. Don't spend more money. Don't make another purchase. Just wait for the buddy keys. We're gonna get it done. I just don't know when. I don't know what the problem is, and so I don't have an answer. Chaos Sprite, thanks so much for the Prime. Kuros, thank you for the tier 1 and the 4 months. I really appreciate that, Kuros. Dartorn with the Prime and the 6 months of support. Thank you so much. Command IRL, thank you for the Prime. Thank you all so much for that. Yeah. Okay. I see. What are we doing in HC? Well, what I was doing earlier in HC is fixing the crippling, some of the crippling abilities. I actually wanted to test those out real quick. Get rid of these guys. My volume's all the way down. So here's a fire one. Okay. Seems to be working. No, okay. I thought you guys were saying that we had hit 80%. I don't think we've hit 80% yet. Do I know when Shadow Walk will be fixed? Are you talking about what issue are you talking about specifically? Thank you for the Prime sub, Chronic. Thanks for the 2 months. Let's get it indeed. Applewhite, yeah, that should be fixed in the patch that's coming hopefully today. Warriors can't chart. Oh, Bash. I made a change to Storm. Storm is now usable in combat again. I know. It's exciting. That'll be coming in the next patch as well. So now you've got Storm and Close the Gap to play with. And you know what convinced me to make that change? Because it's more fun. It's more fun that way. There's also quite a bit of new gear that has come into Halnir with some of the itemization updates. So the skeletal monks are a great, as you can imagine, a good place to get monk gear. But I actually reworked this area as well. Instead of having Wraith Hunters in here and Ulthirans, this area is also going to be skeletal monks. So the skeletal monks should be hopefully a better kind of camp spot now. Yeah, Mr. Zeke, that's correct. Anything that references priests is referring to shaman, cleric, and druid. Anything that references caster or arcane caster is referring to necro, wizard, summoner, and enchanter. Any news on the key to get where I'm at? The key is in fact in and dropping. The problem with the key is that it was only dropping from the warden. It's meant to have a much smaller chance to drop from the crew bosses as well, but I don't think it's on their loot table right now, so that fix will be going in today as well. What are you talking about, Lewin? When can we expect some Druid streams? Sometime in the new year, because I'm going to be working on those here pretty soon. The key does drop from the crew bosses? Okay. All right, well, hold on. Let me just... I mean, I guess I can actually look. Hey, Munchies. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. That's really cool to hear. Well, I mean, when I say a small chance to drop from crew bosses, I mean a pretty small chance to drop. So it is intended to be kind of one of the reasons why you're looking for the warden spawn. But what I'm hearing, it sounds like, is that most of the people that have keys are getting them from the crew bosses and not the warden. So let's see. Oh yeah, the chance of okay, so the key drop on the crew bosses right now is like crazy high. It's like 20% drop. That's much higher than it should be. But there are some of you saying that you're not getting it at all. Crazy Brace, why is the entire Mad Run dungeon walled off? Because somebody, it wasn't me, just to make that clear, it was not me, but somebody, when they were putting in the border collision around Avendir's Pass, didn't check that. It wasn't me. You know. No, it wasn't me, Tumidin. What are you talking about? I would never do something like that. Ever. I don't make mistakes, you know? So let me just check the warden real quick. Yeah, right on. Yeah, so I mean it's set up to be working as intended. It's meant to take some time to gain access into the lower levels of Halnir. So if anything, this answer might not land super positively, but if anything, it was a little too easy to get the key. So Devin Moreau says, I just added my Steam review. It's positive. It's sitting at mostly positive with 857 reviews. Isn't that amazing? Like, that's so amazing. Thank you so much, Devin. I appreciate that. Yeah, Burns, nitpicky maybe, but it matters. It bothers me too. Mr. Zeeks, it was the same problem. It was the border collision that, again, not me. The border collision that we did around AVP, there are two places where it blocked cave entrance. I've fixed those, but it's waiting until the next like full patch for that to roll out to you guys. But the good news is in both of the Trapper and Outdoorsman camps, there's two. I've gone in and they're now itemized better. They're not group mobs anymore. And I've added quite a few of them density wise. So they should be much, even with the one that's closed off, it should be much more viable than it was. I know. Uh, wow. The Pelt Master and the chest both staring at you guys. That's no bueno. Alana, I think that's a great idea. The funny thing about it is there's quite a few people on our team that don't that they're not like as comfortable with that. Because we've done lots of different things public facing over the years through interviews, through the streams that we used to do back in the day, and there's just a lot of people that were like, I really don't want to do that. Now some might want to, so I'll definitely float the idea. Hangor is itemized, yeah. Yeah, the bring out your devs segment. That's exactly it. Guys, one of the things I want to do real quick before I really have been wanting to watch this Lazy Peon video. You guys down to do that? I'm ignoring you? What did I ignore? Can you confirm or deny that Cleric Bolster does absolutely nothing? It adds immunity to being stunned and being knocked down. Are you saying you're still getting stunned and not being knocked down? Nice. Yeah. By the way, how much would you guys love to have a dodge debuff? A dodge debuff make it into a class or two to handle acrobatic NPCs. Are acrobatic NPCs your favorites? Are you saying you want more of them? That's what I figured. What's so cool though is we've got, I mean, how many traits do we have in right now? Is Mark on the stream? Mark, how many, like, of all the traits that we have right now, how many more do we have to add? You told me the number the other day, and I forgot what the number is specifically, but it's pretty sizable. We have 6 in currently, and there are 32 that are in our documentation. That's amazing. So yeah, we were talking about how as we get more and more of those traits layered in, that it's just, man, I'm just really excited about that system. Ghost of Sasquatch says, just wanted to say the game is awesome. I'm rolling a Dire Lord. Nice. Awesome. Great to hear that. Thank you. And thanks for the follow, Ghost. Ardbug, thank you for the follow. Ha4, Munchies, Pax Ratlin. I don't know if I've given you guys a shout out yet, but thank you for the follows. Appreciate that. Chango Stew and Ethans, thank you for the follows as well. Burns, I'm not sure what the fix is. I'm not sure what the issue is there either. I just haven't had a conversation on that specific issue yet, so I can't say. I'm sorry. Camped the Goblin Chief last night for several hours. Nice. There's a little buff coming to the one of the items that the Chief drops. How does the team feel? Rigel TV says, how does the team feel about the early access reception thus far? I would say it's surpassing expectation. It's genuinely surpassing expectation. Very excited. I intentionally had reserved expectations going into it. I follow a lot of games. I play a lot of games. I spend a good amount of time, watching games, upcoming games, interact with Steam quite a bit. I had pretty low expectations coming into it. I was expecting the worst. And I mean not in like a I mean my mood was still really good, and my expectation was it's going to be really rough, and then we're going to stick with it, and we're going to prove that this is a game that deserves to exist, and more people are going to slowly come around. I still feel that way. There are still many more people out there that I want to convince that Pantheon is a game that's worth a shot. And I know as we continue to polish and build out the game, I think that will continue to happen. But I will say that without any exaggeration, my expectations were totally blown out of the water. The fact that we are literally 2% away from an 80% overall review score is crazy to me. It is absolutely crazy. And to see the game, the concurrent players continue to trend upward. My hope, our hope as a team has always been that this style of game, there is still a market for it. There are still enough people who want to see it. And that's proving true. So I'm really, really happy about that. Yeah. Do I feel comfortable sending out the buddy keys soon? I don't know what the issue with the buddy keys is, so I don't know. Yes, like I want them out a week ago. It's 0.69% away from an 80% positive review score. That's amazing. Vahan says, I've done a complete 180 on this game. I've got to say I've done a complete 180 on this game from my first couple of hours to now a couple of dozen hours in. I went from someone who was skeptical about this ever coming out to someone who is really, really excited to see what this game has become in a year or two. Super impressed. The depth here is incredible. Great job, Joppa and team. Excited to see where it goes from here. Thank you so much, Vahan. That kind of feedback is so good. It's so encouraging to hear. Thank you for sharing that. Zindir says, hi, loving early access. However, I found Ogre area super tough to start, finding quests, etc., without getting killed compared to Halfling area. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. There's some improvements that we can make in there to kind of ease things up a little bit. I agree. Nice, Mr. Steele. That's awesome. Drake and Gamer. I think that would be a good question if Mark's still here. Maybe he could speak to that. I know that armor becomes exponentially more powerful and effective as you get higher level and the incoming damage starts going up. My goal and my hope was that we could have, that feeling and that reality be more present at lower levels. And it's not that we're necessarily done tuning those things and dialing it in, but I know right now that armor class gets extremely more like potent and effective the more damage that's being exchanged. Joppa, when am I getting my tail, man? I mean, you know what I mean? Soon. Meaning in the period of time between now and 1.0, they'll happen. Craftler, thank you so much for the tier 3 sub. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks for that answer. Drake and Gamer, I don't know if you saw Breaker of Games, his response, but that would be, I think that's a good response. So at your level, there are situations where you're going to feel the benefit of that armor more and less, depending on what kind of damage you're taking. Is heavy crushing still broken? I was not aware that heavy crushing is broken. Dobie, yeah, for sure. The heavy crushing skill does not go up. Huh. The heavy crushing skill does not go up. Interesting. There's ads. Oh, the ads. No. Ah, the ads. I'll make a note about the heavy crushing because I was not aware of that. It sounds like there might be classes that aren't getting the heavy crushing skill. Like they're not innately getting that skill. I think that's what it is. So we'll check on that. Thanks for bringing it up. Are we still in ads? Ads are done. Good. Yeah, our Diz. I was actually just talking about that earlier. That we have a much more. I'll find it maybe for the next stream. I'll show it to you guys. But yeah, we have a much more like actual book themed UI element for the spell book. Lots of updates to the spell book that we need to do. Hello, sorry to ask a silly question. Are you part of the Pantheon staff? I am indeed. Oh, so Mark, you're saying that heavy crushing is actually updating, but for certain classes it's not showing. Does that mean that it's still giving the skill up messages though? Or would it be hiding those as well? Yeah, Augsburg. That's an issue. The HC lighting bug that happens is a big one, and we think we know what it is. It just hasn't made it to the top of the list yet to get done. Calico, thank you so much for those 1,000 bits. I appreciate that. Just want to throw in these bits because you've been working hard pre-Christmas, and I appreciate you for it. Looking forward to the Druid. Yes. Thank you, Calico. Thank you so much for that. Very vexing. Thank you for the 20 bits. I wanted to bring to your attention that the path to the Eastern Plains in AVP is blocked off by an invisible wall. The path to the Eastern Plains in AVP. I'm trying to think of where that is. Yeah, Raziel, I'll hit that too. Okay. Yeah. Message me and give me a little more detail. There's a town in western up on the northern ridge that is empty of NPCs. You can go into AVP there, but not go. Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. Yeah, we've got some cleanup to do around that area. I did, though, with the patch coming, I did add a bindstone in King's Watch. That's the Eastern Plains village. So I did add a bindstone up there. No news on the auto stacking other than it's like the #1 quality of life ask right now from the entire community. So it's like, yeah, we are very aware. It's unfortunately, it's one of those weird issues that seems easy to fix, but we've actually got to take some dedicated time and kind of dig down into it because it used to be working. I actually had it working, but there were some issues in the code and whatever various things interacting in a certain way that was causing players to actually lose items. So we figured it'd be better to not be worried about losing items and deal with the not having the auto stacking for now until we can dig down into it. All right, let's watch this. I want to watch this and see what we hear. You guys ready?
Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is a modern take on classic MMORPGs aiming to be the spiritual successor to EverQuest. This game was initially kickstarted back in 2014 and seems to have gone through development hell, but on the 13th of December 2024 finally arrived to Steam Early Access with mostly positive reviews. As far as content goes, Pantheon is currently a PvE focused game that's best enjoyed in a group. The combat is tab targeting, players can climb walls, choose from 6 unique races, 12 classes, and explore a massive open world where navigation is done through player memory and exploration, as Pantheon doesn't have any in-game map or mini-map at the moment. Enemies also don't have visible levels. You'll need to consider fighting an enemy before attacking them to gauge their power level, and crafting is also a big thing in this game. As always, I'll list my early thoughts on the game at the end of the video, but before we begin the first impressions, support the content by listening to today's sponsor. Watcher of Realms, the epic fantasy RPG, is serving up a Christmas feast of fun with their Jingle Bells and Wukong Spells event. Prepare to be starstruck as the legendary Monkey King, Sun Wukong, makes his grand entrance. This mischievous hero arrives with a festive Christmas. Never thought I'd see the day, but Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is finally here. Let's create a character and try this game for the first time. We have 6 races: the human, the elf, the halfling, the ogre. Wow, that's a big boy. Look at that belly. The dwarf and the darkmere. These look like aquatic people. Depending on your race, you're obviously limited.
I'm glad you could tell that just from looking at it.
I'm guessing the humans can be everything. Classes, we've got the warrior, the monk, cleric, rogue, wizard, Enchanter, Shaman, Ranger, Paladin, Dire Lord. What the hell is that? Mastering the...
Does everybody know who the Lazy Peon is? Like, is everybody pretty clear on why we would be taking time to watch this? Is that worth explaining?
Crippling Power of Fear. Okay, that's an interesting class. Summoner and the Necromancer. I've never played an ogre in an MMORPG before. I'm going to have to be an ogre. This might be my only chance. In the top right, we have...
So, I haven't done like a super deep dive on him, but he has a very, very large audience, very influential in the space of giving, in my opinion, the ones that I've seen, very fair, pretty nicely in-depth. I mean, for Pantheon, for example, he spent 5 hours in the game, which, you know, is enough time to do some things, not enough time to do other things. It's certainly not a full submersion into the game, but it's also an early kind of first impressions thing. But yeah, that's a great Rain. That's right. Like he's somebody with the kind of influence to be able to, in some ways, to certain extents, dictate trajectory. I don't want to overvalue it, but I also don't want to undervalue it. And I think out of a lot of the people that do this kind of thing, Lazy Peon, in my opinion, is one of the best, just because of the quality that he puts into these videos and the genuine like openness he has to the experience of what each particular game is trying to be. So anyway, it's somebody that it's someone that's been on our radar because we have been expecting, whether it's here at the start of early access or when 1.0 releases, we've been expecting him to, you know, say something about it. So that's why we've been kind of anticipating this and wanting to know what his thoughts are, because as he expresses those thoughts to his community and more broad, it has the ability to affect trends. So anyway, let's keep going.
Our attributes. Oh, actually, let's just see how changing race affects the attributes. Quite a bit, to be honest. So as an ogre, I've got more starting strength. 2 points to allocate. Let's put it in strength. Big damage. Gonna be a warrior. Appearance. Can I make a sexy ogre?
We'll come back to that one, Woodland Critter. That's a good question.
This might take the cake for the ugliest MMORPG race I have ever seen. This might be the World of Warcraft classic female troll, like the beta version or the alpha version, whatever it was. I think that was like famous for being ugly. Hairstyle. Okay, we got some hairstyles. It'd be nice if I could like move the camera and get a better look at him. I'm just locked to this.
They're definitely ugly.
The bigger the tusks, the bigger the... What? I'm restricted to being red-skinned. Okay, I'm sure there's a lore reason for that. So the female orcs are green, but the red-skin orcs are male. He's actually quite handsome, to be honest. This guy on a night out, he would slay. And I'm not talking about goblins. Okay, we got the name. Bonkage. That's a pretty cool name, to be fair. Enter world. WASD. Quite responsive. Space to jump with the movement. Oh, I'm a fat boy. I like it. Left.
Sure that. Quite responsive. I say that is one of the most important things that someone would feel and kind of say or intimate when logging into an MMORPG for the first time. It's responsive. The movement is responsive, smooth. That was really encouraging to hear.
Shift to sprint. You can sprint? Do I look like the kind of bloke who likes to sprint? When you gain levels, you'll need to buy new abilities from the Warrior Scrolls Merchant. Okay, good to know. Targeting an enemy and considering them before you start attacking. Okay, that's quite different to other MMOs. So I shouldn't just look at an enemy and just go in without considering it. I need to target the enemy, and then I need to press the C key to consider fighting it. The output of your consider will be displayed in the chat window. So then I guess that's going to tell me roughly how strong the enemy is. I don't really like the font above the enemies' heads. It looks very amateur, very messy. Press M, nothing.
This is one comment that I don't like. I don't know how subjective of a thing this is, because there are times in games where I will see font above NPCs' heads and font in the game world, and it looks like too fancy to me. Like it's almost like too hard to read, or it just feels too like this feels less distracting to me than fancier font would. So it's not that I'm not open to like considering what kind of font we use and changing that, but I'm also like it makes me want to go look at examples of some other MMOs that are that seem like they are lauded, for their visuals. Like I don't remember how they were in New World, for example. But anyway, I just found that interesting, because I feel like the fancier it is to me, the more distracting it is. But maybe he's not talking about fancy. Maybe he's talking about like the font thickness, or the, it not having like a drop shadow, or something like that.
Pops up, no map. Okay, maybe this game doesn't have a map. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to memorize the environments. There's some weird shit going on with the lighting.
Yeah, that lighting issue drives me insane.
Like it randomly lights up and then it's like super dark. I'm looking for a quest. Scrolls,
we gotta get that.
Traders. I guess we'll just go
down.
forth. Let's consider fighting this. Skittling is indifferent to your presence. This would be an evenly matched fight. Skittling can currently see, hear, and smell you. Oh, that's interesting. That's very different. Let's give it a whack. We missed. Let's try this ability. Big damage, forward swing, dead, sit down. So now loot it. This game is very old school. It kind of reminds me of Project Gordon.
Oh, really? Salt
to be
Ash?
honest. That was like the last game like this that I played. Excuse me, why? Oh, fuck, I went into this fight without full health. I might die here. We need some good RNG with the hits. Oh, it's running. Big damage. Rest. Rest is X. Yeah, sit down and get my health back. I haven't gained any levels, but I feel like I'm killing these things much quicker. Let's see how far
skills
the
are going
aggro
up.
is. What is this flashing? Climb the rocks. There's no shot it can climb up the rocks. Outplayed. Small cave rodent. I'm in combat. Can I sit down and like fully rest up? There's no way. It seems to be working. Okay, let's try again.
Classic WoW font. I remember Classic WoW's font being really
that was
crisp.
A fatal mistake. Small cave rodent. Big giant
some of it's like a
hammering away at this little rat.
It is like a Unity
rat's
thing. Like
putting up a
it seems
good
like
fight.
text
Dark
rendering in
trader.
Unity is a
Mate,
little.
you're called a dark trader, but you're not actually trading anything. You have one job and you're not doing it. I feel like I've probably picked a pretty bad starting area. I'm in a fucking cave. It's pitch black. There's no one around. So maybe this adventuring skill is leveling up. It's 4 out of 6 at the moment, and I am using an axe.
Yeah, that's a good point,
I'm just
Relic.
not really seeing any notification that it is leveling up if it is. Level 2, okay. And now axe is 4 out of 9 instead of 4 out of 6. So the cap of my axe skill has now increased. I think I don't want to be an ogre. I don't like the ogre starting area. It's too dark and depressing and I can't really see anything. Let's make a human so I can actually be outside.
On that note, we did have plans to do more in here and still do, as far as if you think of like Halnir Cave and the green crystals in Halnir Cave, how they emit light and are part of the whole lighting setup. We do have plans to do more like that. It's just kind of one of those ran out of time things for us to do before EA, because the starting area for these evil races was one of the last like world building efforts that we did.
Hide and maybe see other people. That's better, I'm outside, I can actually see things. The text from the NPC nameplates that are behind me overlaps my character. Hideous. Okay, nothing I can do to edit the NPC names in any way. Why is this warrior trainee? Her title is like lowercase, yet this guy is uppercase. It's just little things that are tilting me.
Do you guys know why we do that? I'm gonna tell you the answer. I'm just curious if anyone is, because if you don't know, that means that it's not like one of those self-actuating, self-actualizing kind of things. But essentially the way we've tried to do it consistently is that if it's lowercase, it's kind of a common NPC or a generic NPC, or not a proper name. It's not a proper name. So a warrior trainee, is lowercase and is different from like Sir Trias, because one of them is a proper name, one of them is common. And then we do that to differentiate, between like G'day, for example. So like the word G'day, bandit, G'day is capitalized because it's proper, but bandit is lowercase because it's not a named NPC. It's not a proper name. So that's kind of the terminology, or I'm sorry, that's kind of the methodology behind it. But important versus unimportant could be one way to look at it. But it's not exactly like that because, for example, like in Halnir Cave, the drawn thaumaturge is an uncommon NPC. It's technically kind of like a name, but it's not capitalized because it's an uncommon NPC that's part of a general population. So it's the best way I could, I guess, distill it down is capitalization is for proper names, titles, entity groups like G'day or something like that. And then lowercase is for improper nouns, common, things like that.
Well, we can open the door. I wasn't expecting that. I thought the building wouldn't be.
But that being said, there's probably
buildings. There's another player in here. I like MMOs.
Things we can do, to make that better.
Buildings. I appreciate that. Get your hands dirty. Oh, we found a quest. Laughter and songs mix with banter and brawls. The town is teeming with life. I wouldn't go that far. What the fuck is this building here? It looks like a castle, but a miniature castle. A castle that's smaller than a random house. Oh, it's a bank. Why does it look so out of place? Oh shit, I forgot to heal between the fight. Have I got any potions? This person can see him in trouble. It looks like he's cast. Thank you, sir. Drop a TY in the chat. Got some bat fur to sell. Let's go grind some mobs, make some money, and see if we can wrap our heads around this game. It's not overly intuitive.
I mean, it'd be cool. It would be cool to do something even with nameplates as well. I like when nameplates have a little character to them. So if it's like, I don't know. There's definitely things we could do. Fonts or colors, maybe. Lowercase is a bit annoying from my weird perspective. I mean, would it be weird to just capitalize everything? Is that what we should do? All right, there's almost 600 people in here. We're going to poll it because this is the perfect thing to poll. We were watching Nanners were watching Lazy Peon's first impressions video on Pantheon that he put out yesterday. And one of the points of feedback he gave was the difference between lowercase and uppercase in NPC names. And while we have a reason for doing that, I can understand where it doesn't seem like it's super clear or intuitive. So it ends up coming off a little bit, I think it's kind of being lost. It feels more like jankiness than intentionality. So yeah. So I'm doing a quick poll just to see, at least out of the people here, if there's like a trending sentiment. Hey, Chris Frozen. Welcome. Wow. Don't capitalize everything. Okay. Nice. Okay. it is very much, I think it is very much coming from that like mud mentality for these games. But the thing that you have to remember with MUDs is that, I mean, obviously they were extremely limited in what they could do to show differentiation and whatnot. I mean, it was all primarily text-based. And so now that we have so many more visual elements to use through nameplates, through color, I mean, I guess they could have used color, but through, symbols and various things, we can, there are other options to do it. Because I have such a heavy EverQuest background, like this, like how do they do it in Classic WoW, by the way? In Classic WoW, is everything capitalized? Everything's in caps? But like in the bandit camps over here, for example, like, I mean, honestly, these bandit camps are a great kind of test case. So you've got burglar, you've got thug, you've got shadowy thug, shadowy maven, masked bandit. So the burglar, the thug, the shadowy thug, shadowy maven, they're all lowercase, kind of these common, NPC types. The masked bandit is an uncommon NPC. It's kind of a light named, but it's also lowercase. But the other uncommon NPC, Hotshot Shalasa, I think is the name, Hotshot Shalasa. Her name is capitalized. She's an uncommon, just like the Masked Bandit, but because it's a proper name, it's like her nickname Hotshot, and then her actual name, Shalasa, it's capitalized. And the thinking behind that is that it's meant to not only like trigger you to say, oh, there's something unique or something maybe more special about this NPC, but it's got this kind of built-in incongruity to it, right? Because then the Masked Bandit, who's also kind of special because it's an uncommon spawn, is lowercase. So you're more intuiting that it's special because you rarely see it than you are just because the name is different. So I do like decorated frames, and I think they work relatively well. I really want to get a decorated frame in for group NPCs and move away from the chevron stuff, because I'm seeing people left and right not even realize that it's like a group NPC because the chevron's so small. So to have a decorated nameplate where there's like a skull on the top left or the top right kind of built into the frame, I think does a much better job. Yeah, Black Lotus, we will eventually. That'll be part of the UI pass that we do, is building in some of those customization options. That's when we'll do like floating combat text customization and lots of other things. I Am Sodasan says, now that you've explained it, it makes a lot of sense, but my first impression was exactly the same as Lazy Peons. Yeah, that's fair. All right, let's keep going.
Called a burglar. Is the burglar strong? It's an orange.
Yeah, see, is the burglar strong? Ideally, if we're going to have this solo and group mob distinction, that question should not be being asked. There should be something more to kind of let you know, like, yes, this thing's strong. But I do like that he considered it. So granted, like, this is clearly not a game that the type of game that Lazy Peon plays very often. So he's just, some minutes into this, and he's learning to consider and seeing that it's orange, so he already knows, yes, it's strong. Even if he's not realizing it's a group NPC, he's still at least realizing that it's something that is dangerous.
Just run. Oh, it's almost fucking one-shot me. Fucking hell. Rough start to the game. Are you putting buffs on me?
But that's a good reason that, sorry to keep stopping it, but like the fact that it killed him so quickly, he's left thinking, man, like great start to the game. You know, this thing aggroed me, I'm dead instantly. But even though he knows it's higher level than him, if he's missing the fact that it's a group NPC, that might have helped a little more, make him feel like there's a reason I died so fast, even if it was a little bit higher level. I don't know.
Me. Oh, thank you. Drop the TY. Dexterity, fire resist, health regen, thank you. The other players seem to be quite helpful in helping you kill stuff or dropping a buff to you. Voltar's giving me something, I think. Tarnished Axe.
Voltar.
So that's 6 physical damage, up from 3. Massive upgrade. Shout out to Voltar.
Thanks for
Voltar's
representing the
an
community
absolute
so well,
legend. He's
Voltar.
just going around healing people. He's that guy that you just want in MMOs. Oh, it's becoming nighttime. Well, that day to night transition was very fast. I guess this is why a lot of the
so
classes
fast.
have torches as their offhand when they start. The torches for nighttime. It is very dark.
Hey you, are you tired of not being able to look up how to do CPR on your grandma because YouTube is showing you a 2-minute ad for pizza?
I am. Wow, these
big
ads are
crit. That's the
they're
first
perfectly
crit I've got.
personalized
The
because
number
that's
popped
exactly
out of
how
the
I feel.
screen. That's level 3. There we go. We're absolutely popping off right now, as you can see. Massive damage. Jumping and attacking. We're critting. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Pantheon Rise of the Fallen PvP video. Like and...
So while this is silly, this is actually like, this is good. This is really good. Oh, we're in ads. Okay, I'll chill here for a second. But this moment, well, I'll wait till you guys are back. Let's see. All right, just with you guys getting back, I want to say rough work. Thank you for the follow. Sulcifer, Massive Split, Boker AM, Survivor 61, Amar, Floridon, Autopsy, Hershey Crisp, Big Poi 92, Melvillus, Perseces, Lol Sancho, Off Trackery. Thank you all so much for the follows. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it very much. Black Lotus with the 5. Gifted. Thank you, Black Lotus. That's awesome. And Valorant with the gifted sub as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Salacious, thanks so much for the Prime. Just wait till he talks about the bank texture. Merry Christmas, brother, and congrats again on EA. He has already talked about the bank texture. He has already talked about the bank texture. Yeah. MC Term, thanks for the Prime. Lady Duchess, Sir Modi, and Tipicalric, thanks so much for the follows. Thank you for being here. What I was going to say is, or what I was saying is, I like this part. It seems kind of silly because he's, running around smacking this thing.
But I've got the number popped out of the screen. That's
the first thing he said, like right when he started playing, was, "This feels responsive," which is what I was saying. Like that's one of the things you really want to hear when someone starts playing an MMO for the first time. Because one of the things that I've learned, especially about our game, is that watching Pantheon through streams, watching through, anytime you're watching Pantheon be played, because it's a classically inspired game, because, it's not Unreal 5, like AAA, gorgeous graphics type of thing. It has this kind of way of feeling kind of clunky. Like you almost expect it to have this clunkiness to it, even when you're watching it. but then when you get in and play it and you feel the smoothness and the responsiveness of the character controller and the movement and the abilities, it's kind of a paradigm shift where you realize like, okay, this game still has a ways to go visually. This game still has a lot of polish visually, but it feels so much better to play it, and it feels so much more like congruent when you play it because of that smoothness. So when I watch him in this moment,
okay, we're absolutely popping off right now, as you can see.
He's kind of feeling that out. He's feeling the fact that I can run, I can strafe, I can mouse look while attacking, while jumping, while attacking.
Like and subscribe. That's a spooky
that's a good
lesson, isn't it? It's got some kind of
that's a graphical bug
trailing it. I don't know if that's intended. Adds to the creepiness though. Why does this have the exact same icon? Why can I only put it on these first 4? These other hotbar slots seem useless. I can't drag anything to them.
I've seen
this ability, I can
so
drag
many people
on any
get
of the
caught up on this right here. Like,
no
what's going on?
This one, I cannot. Oh, that was a quest to talk to him.
That's a big.
So now I've unlocked all of the gathering
improvement.
skills. If this gives me a full set of tools, I might as well. Right, can I buy a bag from him? I need a bag. 198 pouch. And now if I press O, that opens up both of my bags. I'm trying my hardest to overlook the visuals, but it needs to be said, like the graphics, the UI, the text, everything when it comes to visuals looks like the game's 20 years old. It actually looks worse than WoW Classic. I'm just trying to ignore it, and I'm trying to focus on how the game actually plays. Music's
So, what do you guys think about that comment? That's probably the most, well, that I would say that is so far in the video the most negative thing, which means it's important. Like, he keeps coming back to this text comment, and as much as I guess I would say I haven't really thought about it in this way, but UI definitely does have an effect on the overall look and feel. I just have not even thought about the text as a problem. Like, and because of that, I feel a little bit like, I don't really have a true north response of like, oh, well, this is what we need to do to make the text better. I don't know. Like I said before, I don't necessarily think fancier text helps. I mean, I don't like fancy text in MMOs. Like, one of the things I struggle with, honestly, with like Final Fantasy games is their text seems just really like fancy and ornate. But I feel like that's just always been a very subjective thing. But when I look at Pantheon, is like, is it because it's too bold? Is it because it's too fat? I don't know. But text aside, like the game world, the art of the game, like we're never going to be an Unreal 5. It has a rendering style. You can make really beautiful games with Unreal 5. Unity's always, trailed behind in some pretty significant ways. Unity 6 is going to be a significant upgrade, but, it's still going to trail behind a little bit. But, the style that we're going for, the overall cohesive style, it's, it is a very much more kind of realism stylized hybrid that is very like painted. And I think we've come a long way visually. I think lighting is still an issue for us. I think getting global illumination in and just improving the lighting in the game even more so is going to help quite a bit. I think polishing up, certain textures, like our trees, doing a pass on our trees like we've done with our rocks. I think there's still like some character texturing, especially with the hair. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like it's never going to be like, and I just like, that's okay. Like it's okay. I was talking earlier, but I love, I mean, look at how well games do. Anyway, I don't want to go down this huge rabbit hole. It's important to me that this is the most negative thing that he's said so far. So it's really landing on him that like, whatever the sum of the parts are, it's still feeling like it's missing the mark that much. And I don't know how much of that is it's just never going to be that kind of look, or if it's, what are the sum of the parts that we can actually address and should address. UI is a big one. I know even just taking the border off of the hotbars had a really positive response from everybody. And I mean, we still have, this stuff going on. There's a lot we can do UI wise. There's probably some cleanup we can do on the names, but like I would have been really curious to see him play in Wild Zen, for example, to see like what that environment may have possibly made him feel differently. I don't know. Yeah, lighting, the global illumination is going to help a ton with things like shadows and just the general feel of the lighting. And we do plan to open up the UI stuff to the community as well. All right, let's keep watching.
Kind of nice in this zone. And with level 4, I can now open my codex and I can equip...
He's level 4.
No, I need to learn the ability first. I've got a scroll here for Storm. Charge at the target at furious speed.
A small stroke outline on the names?
That's what we want. So we've got a charge ability. Let's consider the snake. Let's generate some point. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I'm starting to feel much more like a warrior. You know what?
Yeah,
the
I like
combat
that.
is already better than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be auto-attacking until like level 10 with hardly any abilities. I'm really happy that isn't the case. Good old classic MMO boar. Apparently it's a weak mob, as you'd expect. Okay, we've got some ore here. Can we mine this one? We found something to mine. How's the mining animation? A little bit clumsy. Our first bit of mining. That's probably enough for the mining quest. There we go. Now we're immersed. Yeah, it looks way better when you hide the UI. The UI in this game isn't
Oh, is he a BDO player?
very pretty.
Hold on, I want to stop. I want to hear what he has to say about this.
Mining.
He is. Okay. BDO and Ashes. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, 2 gorgeous games, right? It's interesting. But even this shot, like this shot right here is a perfect example.
Okay, we've got some
He's running up to
classic MMO boar. Apparently it's a weak mob, as you'd expect.
He's running up to this cliff right here, right? There's no elevation in the terrain. There's no like erosion happening with stone and dirt, coming off of the rock. There's no like scree rock, smaller rocks and stuff scattered around the bottom. Like that's the kind of stuff. And unfortunately, that's going to just come later. Like it's got to come later. But that's the kind of stuff I look at when I play and I'm like, there's ways to make these areas feel more organic, more picturesque, just look better. And I think that will help some with just the overall cohesiveness of things.
Okay,
what was he saying about the combat?
Can we mine this one? We found something to mine.
Or the UI.
How's the mining animation? A little bit clumsy. Our first bit of mining. That's probably enough for the mining quest. There we go. Now we're immersed. Yeah, it looks way better when you hide the UI. The UI in this game isn't very pretty.
That's cool.
I mean, the graphics aren't great either, but every game looks a little bit better when you hide the UI. Right click to begin skinning. I can actually skin these things now.
That's
Takes
encouraging.
a while. At least you can move and attack at the same time in this game. It doesn't just root you in place. So far, everything that I've done has allowed me to move, as melee anyway. I can do this. I can jump and kick if I want. I can jump and attack if I want. There's no restrictions there, so that's good. The animations might not be amazing, but I do appreciate that I've got full control over my character. Ding, level 5.
Animation improvements are going to go a long way too. So I've said that a lot, but I'll keep saying it. Like, animations are iterative. All of these animations will be getting improved over time. So that'll help.
Beware, dying at level 5 means you'll leave a corpse behind where you die. You'll keep everything you had equipped, such as armor and weapons, but all coins, bags and items you were carrying will be left on the corpse. Bro, I had no idea this game's like full loot death. To get them back, remember where you died and return. Can other players steal my stuff in this game though? You'll also lose some experience, which can cause you to lose a level. Oh shit. That's mad. That'll have me playing a little bit more careful then. Back to the village. Let's go sell my stuff.
That'll have me playing a little bit more careful then. Okay. So far, so good, right? Like that's the point.
With the UI off. Right now I'm checking the town to see if anyone can sell me some upgrades. Weaponsmith. Oh, but these are schematics, so I'd have to craft it myself. Like, I know it's realistic to have to craft all of your own gear, but I don't really like crafting, to be honest. See how this works. Okay, I've learned the schematic. Head over to a forge and see what I actually need to gather. Axe blade, weapon hilt, weapon haft, or smelting basics. Ah, okay, a lump of asherium. So I can do this. Okay, we're doing it.
Just so everybody knows, yeah, like he did this of his own volition. We have not paid any money for this. We didn't even, as far as I'm aware, we didn't have any, interaction with him or communication with him. So this is a review he's done fully on his own volition.
You don't just need schematics for the thing you're crafting, you need schematics for the components of the things that you're crafting. So for one item craft, you're going to need like 5 schematics or something. I better get out, make some money, and gather some more ore because I just don't have enough.
Yeah, I am
right
Satosin.
now.
That's exactly 100% right.
Unnecessarily long. Oh, I've only just noticed that I've got a weight limit. Okay, I think I've figured out where the ore is spawning, just alongside these cliff faces. If I follow this along, should have plenty of ore. Oh my god, I'm going to be so broke. Leather pauldrons basis. Okay, now we're crafting.
I'm glad you dug into this a little bit.
Make the reinforcements. So now we've finally gathered everything to make myself some pauldrons. Here it is, 13 armor, and now we have some shoulder pads. Looking good. As much as I was slightly annoyed that I couldn't just go to a vendor and just buy some upgrades, to be fair, it did feel good crafting it myself.
Hey, there you
Shell
go.
helmet. Wait. I can wear this? Beetle shell helmet. Bro, what? That is not a beetle shell helmet. It looks like leather. Looking cool. Starting to look like I'm getting equipped. Beetle shell helmet.
I'm going to change that.
Whatever you say, game. I mean, we'll use it for now. 2 armor is 2 armor. Can we do a 2v? We can't do a 2v1. We need to get the fuck out of there. 3
Beetle
beetles
shell
on me.
helmet.
4
Hey, look at
beetles
this.
on me. Out of stamina. Oh no. I'm exhausted. And I lost a chunk of XP. I didn't lose too much.
This is first
but
death.
Fuck. Oh, I would have lost all of my stuff. I would have lost all of my ore. Oh my god. Check my bags. Wait, where are my bags? I don't even have my bags. I have nothing. I even lost my bags. That's rough. So I died around here. And I should...
Okay, I paused it because, number one, I need to let my dog out real quick. But also, I want to talk about this for a sec. Be right back. Chair, you got it. Just realized I've been in front of his face the whole time too. I'm just gonna slide up here for now. Give him the respect. Now that we're 15 minutes in. All right. Yeah, so he had just had his first death. I kind of liked this moment. Like, look at that face. That's the face of somebody who has not had this feeling in an MMO probably in a long time.
Just a chunk of XP. I didn't lose too much, but fuck. Oh, I would have lost all of my stuff. I would have lost all of my ore. Oh my god, check my bags. Wait, where are my bags? I don't even have my bags. I have nothing. I even lost my bags. That's rough. So I died around here. And I should be able to find my corpse. Here it is. Oh god. There I am. What a mess. To be honest, I would be very surprised if this game allowed other players to just take your stuff if you die. Imagine like full loot PvP in a game without PvP. Now, there's no way the devs would allow people to just take your stuff after you die to
Washboard,
PvE,
yes.
Because then it would be like a really viable method of playing
I'm the creative
game,
director
just
on the
being
project.
like a stealth rat. Follow people around, wait for them to die, and just yoink their stuff. Oh my god, you can climb walls?
Hey.
How have I only just discovered you can climb? Okay, that's cool. How
Look at that
have
smile.
I only just discovered that 3 hours into
That's
playing?
a genuine
I do not
smile
know.
right there. That's
we don't
awesome.
have to jump down a mountain. We can climb down it. Oh, that's quite immersive, to be fair. I do like that. Right, what do I want to make next? Probably a chest piece. Crafting my second piece of armor was certainly
Yeah,
a
you
lot
cannot
easier.
loot other
Oh, that was just for
players'
the
corpses
basis.
on the
Yeah, it's not the
PvE
full thing.
server.
Just the
On the
basis.
PvP
Okay,
servers, we
calm
will have
down,
rule
Craig.
sets
So
that
now we need to
govern
craft the
what
full
can be
thing.
looted and things like
Another
that.
Asherim plate.
But yeah, in case
Turn that
anyone is
plate
curious
into
or concerned, you cannot loot other
reinforcements. Now we
people's
just need the rivets. Buy the rivets
corpses
from the
on
vendor.
normal
There it
servers.
is. Quite a lot of crafting involved in that. That's better.
Look at
You know
that,
what,
look at that
actually looks
smile.
really cool. Feels good that I've crafted that. Way more enjoyable than I thought it would be. You also wearing the same thing. You've got the full set, you absolute Chad. I am a mere apprentice. The crafter that I aspire to be. This beetle's literally going to the bottom of the ocean to get away from me. Good
What
fight, I
happened?
guess. That's one way to escape. Swim to the bottom of the lake in the middle of the night. Well played, beetle. You win this time. Oh my god, what? Everything's aggroed me. I think it's because that beetle that swam under the water ages ago is still in combat with me. So
That's
because
not
I'm in
cool.
combat, now the entire zone is getting pulled. I'm just dead. There's nothing I can do
This
about that.
this
What
is
can I
on
do?
us because
That is awful
if the
design.
beetle went underwater,
That was unfortunate.
wait, he
Now
said
I've
that's
got a-
awful design. I need to listen to that. If the beetle went underwater, then he would have had a difficult time probably finishing it off. And because he didn't and stayed in aggro with it, when it regenerated enough to re-engage, then because the beetle is social with other beetles, then that whole thing happened. So that's
beetle that swam under the water ages ago is still in combat with me. So because I'm in combat, now the entire zone is getting pulled. I'm just dead. There's nothing I can do about that. What can I do? That is awful design.
one sec. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to need to watch it one more time. What did he say was
me.
awful design?
So because I'm in combat, now the entire zone is getting pulled. I'm just dead. There's nothing I can do about that. What can I do? That is awful design.
Oh, he thinks it's because he's in combat? That's what it sounded like to me. That he thinks it's because he's in combat with one thing that it's causing these other things to aggro him. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, that's like that's just unfortunate the way all that played out. I mean, a lot of that's on the game. Like the game needs to be able to handle those situations better. The NPC fleeing, like Mark said earlier, the flee duration is really long. The chase length is really long. There's just a freak ton of these beetles that happen to be here right now in this spot. That's an unfortunate introduction to the social nature of certain NPCs. So I can totally, especially with the death penalty being new for him, I can totally understand why that's a pretty crappy moment.
That was unfortunate. Now I've got to run for 10 minutes and have my time wasted. Dropping my stuff on the floor doesn't...
So, and also, this is another really interesting point to me, is compare the way he is feeling right now compared to the way he reacted the first time he died. The first time he died, there was energy. There was like, oh my goodness. This time, it's like, he's like, totally different mood, totally different mindset, totally different attitude. That's interesting. It wasn't his fault this time. He has that feeling of like the first time, it didn't happen when he died to the burglar because there was no death penalty yet. The second, what caused him to die the second time? What was it? I don't remember. I don't remember. The exact same beetles did it? It was the same situation? Backup crypt. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for that. Appreciate that message very much. Yeah, the exact same beetles did it, huh? Okay. But it was just social aggro that time. The second time. This time it may not have felt as natural to him. It may have felt like something was broken, or like he wasn't comprehending why all this was happening, and largely because of that beetle that got away from him and then started causing havoc. I mean, that's a very janky situation. That feels a lot like how things could feel in EQ sometimes, where, things you just like fly off the rails really fast, and then you end up being on the receiving end of something that maybe shouldn't have happened, but it's just interesting to me that this is something that I'm like, yeah, the death penalty, how severe it is. I mean, we've already like pulled back from the death penalty severity a little bit from like EverQuest, where, you're at least have your worn gear on you when you respawn after death. But you leave your items on your corpse, your inventory items, you lose experience, you have the return run. Yeah, it's interesting.
Make the game better. This here really does look... Player zone is getting pulled. I'm just dead. There's nothing I can do about that. What can I do? That is awful design. That was unfortunate. Now
Also, that too, there's nothing I can do about it. One sec. Sorry, my wife and my kiddos are just getting home, so I've got a lot of traffic coming into the room. Hold on one sec. All right. But yeah, that statement of there's nothing I could do about it. And that's makes me like sprint is there ultimately the same way near death is meant to try and like soften some of this stuff a little bit. Don't want to take the sting out of it completely, but near death and sprint are there. Sprint's there, to be a traveling mechanic to a degree, but it's there also to try and help with something like this. So the fact that he was able to sprint, but still was not able to get away, is interesting. Because I'm thinking of new players as well, right? And new players maybe aren't thinking about or haven't learned how to like maximize their sprint usage, nor do they probably care about that right at the beginning. They just know they can sprint. They use it to try to get away. But then when you can't get away, even still, I don't know. That's interesting feedback. But yeah, the leash distance is so long that sprint almost feels like it's very difficult to actually get away from something with sprint. But yeah, that's you get into situations like was just said, like without the reason that leashing is as long as it is number one, to try and avoid people like being able to sit right at like a shorter least distance range and kind of be able to easily move out of range if things go south, and kind of reset things. So we wanted it to be further along. But then the other reason is to my brain just, I don't know, my brain just did something weird. LK, Jeremy, thank you so much for the 5 gifted and Valorant with the 3 gifted. Appreciate that. Big time. Blasting those ads. Oh, kiting. That's what I was going to say. The ability to kite in any meaningful way with a really tight leash distance makes that really tough. Yeah. So, all right, let's keep watching.
Gotta run for 10 minutes and have my time wasted. Dropping my stuff on the floor doesn't make the game better. This here really does look like a dungeon entrance. Dark Flame Guard. Yeah, that's definitely a dungeon entrance, isn't it?
Doesn't make the game better. I've got something to say about that in a sec.
Protected by 2 very strong mobs, apparently. Starting to get brighter. I think the sun's going to come up soon. Quick look at the skybox. Looks quite pretty, doesn't it? This game's so dark, I cannot see the canyon below. In some ways, the darkness is cool. In practicality, it's annoying. Oh, there's a giant castle over there in the distance. Some of the assets do kind of stick out of the environment like a sore thumb. How many mastery points you can spend on abilities? Wait, what? Forward swing. Let's upgrade forward swing. Okay, how do I level up then?
Mastery's disabled.
Mastery, go. Click here.
We need a message or something.
How the fuck do I level this up? It says here, click here to try and upgrade the current ability. Click. Cannot. It's like, this part of the UI is broken or something. We got some cultist mobs here, prepared to attack you.
Yeah, so TT, death penalty is perfectly fine. He didn't understand how social mobs work and got screwed because mobs went into the water, partially his fault in the games. Okay, so here's really important point. Really important point. And if anything, it gives you maybe some insight into how I think about this kind of stuff. The goal is to introduce this style of game to people who may not know that they would really love this style of game. And if it stops at just, he didn't understand it, and, he got, whatever. Like, how to phrase this? Anytime you're making something that is somewhere on the spectrum of subjectivity, I've had conversations with friends, both on a friend level and professional level, when it comes to writing, when it comes to music and lyrics, where you can have an amazing song, but if your lyrics are so dense and they're so wordy and they're so heavy, you might not be able to get your message across. Same with writing. You can have fantastic macro ideas and concepts as a writer, but if your writing is so dense and so heavy and so verbose, then you risk how many people could have appreciated and fallen in love with your ideas because they couldn't get through it. They couldn't get far enough through it to actually get like hooked on it and realize like how beautiful it is or how insightful it is or whatever it may be. And so the challenge that we have is we could very easily say like, oh, well, he just didn't understand they were social mobs and he didn't, this, and he's just, whatever, he's dead. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But knowing like how much this game needs to like scale up in terms of like the intensity, I would love to think through ways to get more people hooked so that they understand better by the time they get there what's happening when the intensity hits. So it's just really interesting. I mean, I'm not saying like there's any like, at this moment in time, I'm just kind of reacting in real time to what I'm seeing and what I'm observing here. I'm not saying there's like these very clear, action points to make in response to this, but it's interesting to me to see somebody that is playing this game and to see some of that initial like excitement and some of that initial intensity landing, I would say in a positive way, but how quickly it has started to turn into a less and less positive feeling. And while I think there's plenty of room for like intensity and punishment, if you will, that the game can heap onto you, especially as you progress, I don't know. I think it's interesting to me to see, just to kind of think about like in what ways can we maybe ramp that up? Now, thinking about these things well means that you don't just like come to one conclusion. Like I have to think about it from the other perspective too. And the fact that like the things that he's said so far, like had he gotten away from those mobs, had the tools been provided to him, for example, if sprint was a little more effective in this situation, if leashing mechanics were a little bit tweaked where he was actually able to get away and experience being close to death, but actually making it out, that could have been a very powerful, positive experience and could have started setting that framework of like, I really got to take this world seriously, which is a very different mindset than most players have playing MMOs these days. Like you don't take the world that seriously. So it's all just part of like I'm just kind of marinating in this. Sorry, I keep stopping it.
Oh, there's another ore. I'm getting really excited when I see these ores. It'll be a close fight. I think I want to fight this one one-on-one. I'll grab the ore first. If I die, I'm like a 15-minute run away from where I would respawn. Oh god, she's coming towards me. Stay there, you wench. Can she see me? She can currently see me.
See,
Oi!
okay. This great example. I'm going to make a note of this. We need, I think, an indicator, whether it's an eye, whether it's a bar, something that's like you are in trouble. Like if you let this if you don't respond to this, if you don't react to this, something bad's going to happen. Had he had that, whatever's about to happen to him here could have gone a lot better because you saw him. Like he was doing the right thing. He was watching this NPC while he was mining. That's great. He's learning to pay attention to the world. So that's good. That's happening. But he clearly had no idea how this NPC was going to react to him. And I think that's less good. If he had seen an eye or seen some kind of a bar filling up, he could have said, whoa, I need to back away, I need to stop. And he would have made a decision and maybe whatever. But this, I feel like where this is about to go is maybe piling on some more of that
Fucking hell, she got the upper hand. Oh, fucking hell, she's doing massive damage. I got a potion, though. I knew that potion would come in handy. Bro, what is her
doing a lot of
damage?
damage.
I hope she runs on low health. I can't run. I'll be dead if I run.
Oh,
Please.
so close, too.
Fuck, dude, no. No, I'm so far away.
Oh, she just started running.
No. Oh, no, I'm going to lose all that ore. Oh, my God, dude. That's so tedious. It's so far away, though. It's so far away. And when I go recover my stuff, I'm going to get spawn camped by her when I grab my stuff. Because I'm near a camp. We're going to try and run past.
Look who it is. This is Ju Yuen, a public security officer. She's among the best in criminal investigation.
Grab my stuff and just fucking run. I'll probably die again. Because in tab target games, mobs can always run faster than you for
Could he have,
whatever
in this
reason.
situation, could he have used the corpse command? Or are we in ads? I was in ads. You guys aren't. Okay, then we're good. Could he have used the /corpse command to get that back without running on top of it?
It's so annoying. If you die in a camp, you're gonna have to get your stuff back twice. Okay, another 10-minute run back to the corpse. And on top of that, you've got...
So, and here's my point, guys. Like, had he not had those... Had he been able to avoid that first death at that camp by, us maybe taking a step further in letting him know what was happening. Yes, he conned the target. It said it was aggro. Yes, it turned to face him. But that, like, being able to see what's happening through some kind of like a UI element, like an eyeball or something like that, could have clarified for him something that he will learn in time, which is how that behavior works. And if he had been able to avoid that first death, because it seems like he's genuinely enjoying certain things. He's enjoying finding nodes and gathering, which I hear from a lot of people that play. He's obviously moving around the world quite a bit because he's gone all the way up to the Dire Lord area and over to where the cultists are. I'm just thinking in my mind, like, what would the outcome of this had been had some of these deaths not happened? And then I'm extrapolating that out into, like, what's the takeaway there? What do you mean, Loon? Like, can you expound on that a little bit? Having everyone go through 100 deaths with 10-minute corpse runs won't retain players, though. PvP would be a ton more intense, yeah. Malzeron, which is part of the reason I'm really excited about it. Corpse drag could have mitigated it. Melted Wing we could, but ultimately I want to see that like in the game itself, and preferably not only in the game, but like in the context of what's happening in the game. Throwing fast layout is part of the tedium. I mean, that's fair. Let's keep watching.
Got the XP loss as well. Punishment on top of punishment. 3 punishments. Punishment number 1, your stuff being dropped on the floor. Punishment number 2, a 10-minute walk back. Punishment number 3, XP loss. Just fuck me in the arse whilst you're at it as well. Jesus Christ. You know what? Send a fucking debt collector to my house as well. Fine me $1,000 per death if you want to get really hardcore. How fucking dare someone try and mine or solo in an MMO? My bad, I should have had a fucking 5-player group with me protecting me whilst I mine that one bit of ore. Got my leather helm. Oh, that actually looks worse than what I had. It's going to be better
That's
though,
what the beetle shell helmet should look like.
Defensives. Yeah, 9 armor. The other one looks really cool though. Stats above all else. First time I've seen it rain. Bit of fog. Thankfully my torch isn't going out. There it is. Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. I'm about 5 hours in at this point. The game is more playable than I thought it would be. Probably one of the most niche MMOs I've played this year, but for the people who have been waiting for it for a long time, and I know that's a lot of people, I hope you're having fun. I'm glad that the game actually came out in a somewhat playable state, and it didn't completely scam. You actually have something to play. It's been a long 10 years if you're a Pantheon fan. Hopefully the devs can deliver and give you what you've been looking for, which will hopefully eventually be the successor to EverQuest. Probably got a way to go until it reaches that point, but at least it's playable now. Without a group, I feel like there's not too much more I can do, so let's wrap it up here. So after checking out Pantheon...
That bums me out. That bums me out that he felt that way about the group thing. Like, I feel like we've got some work to do there to really... Again, I think EverQuest did it really well in that sense, where the game was very soloable in a lot of ways, but grouping was a natural and encouraged part of the game because it was so group centric regarding like where you could go and the kind of things that you could do in a group and needed to have a group to do. But I don't want someone to camp out saying I don't have a group, so I guess there's nothing more I can do. Like you just don't, it's just not, and we've got to make sure that, I don't know. It's need to think about like, I'm curious to see how it feels even after this next patch. That's exactly what you do. You log out because you don't have a group. Yeah, I don't want... That's not the intent. It should not feel that way. Some of it, I think, is perception. Some of it is game knowledge because it's learning what potential places there are to go. But then it's also what I'm currently working on right now, which is like how many NPCs can you actually engage with solo? Is there an itemization path, which there hasn't really been up until now, which we're just starting to get that in with the patch that's coming up. But solo NPCs able to actually drop, some of that uncommon gear. Small door. I don't agree. I don't agree with that. Like I agree with the goal, and I agree with like being very, like taking that very seriously, but. Like, I mean, I can tell you, so, like, the most recent characters that I've made on, like, P99, I've soloed. Because you can. And it's viable. And you could do that back in the day as well. it's possible to have both, and I that's why I keep trying to emphasize, like, Pantheon will always be a group-centric game. Like, you will not be able to accomplish the same things as a solo player as you can with a group. Absolutely not. But I do want players, especially in the overland, to be able to log in and feel like, man, I'm having trouble finding a group, but I can still play. That's so key. Because many of those players that do solo are soloing in hopes to continue to advance so that the next time there's a group and there's a spot, they can get in on it, you know? Yeah, Naders, that's something else. It's not going to be super cleaned up with the patch coming in today, but that's part of what I'm working on as well, is developing some alternative ability loadouts for NPCs that are meant to be solo NPCs, or small group NPCs, because they chunk way too hard, and by yourself or with only a couple players, you don't always have the means to deal with that. So there's a reason that solo NPCs give less experience. There's a reason that they have, their drop chances are much lower for like uncommon stuff, and that's because they're meant to be doable by a solo player, depending on your class, or a small duo trio type thing. So that'll get better. When will the patch drop today? I don't know. I've got family activities that are starting to kind of flow in that I need to actually, I don't want to, but I need to wrap it up here because I'm being summoned. But it'll either be this evening or it'll be in the morning. There we go. Dragoon, you can get it on Steam right now for $39.99. Yeah, let's hit the summary.
Rise of the Fallen for the first time, my new player first impressions are as follows. Things I liked. I like that this is an MMO with unique races, especially the Ogre. I like that not every race has the same starting area. So far there's 3 unique starting areas. I appreciate that Pantheon is trying to be a unique MMO and is taking some risks with unconventional design, such as no map, no displayed levels and no hand-holding. This will definitely appeal to a certain type of MMO player. As much as I was initially confused by the crafting, I did enjoy it and I found it satisfying once I gave it a chance. The world in this game feels mysterious and dangerous due to no map and having to inspect each enemy. I was surprised that this game has climbing. This isn't something that many MMOs have, which is another thing that makes Pantheon unique. And it seems like a great social MMO to play in a group. The players I did encounter during my time playing were very friendly. Things I disliked. I think the UI looks very ugly, it's not intuitive and lacks functionality. I don't like the graphics. To me the game looks 20 years old, which is a shame because in terms of design the game's quite immersive. It's just not a very beautiful world to be a part of, unfortunately. I disliked the NPC text, I didn't like the fonts, the way it overlaid my character model, and the inconsistent use of caps. In terms of gameplay, I'd say the tab targeting combat was slightly below average. This could be improved with better animations and cleaner damage numbers. I disliked having to run back to my corpse to loot my body. Having XP loss on death is already quite a big punishment, so I don't think it's necessary. And I think the NPCs chase you for way too long. If you accidentally aggro an NPC that's stronger than you, there's no counterplay. You can't beat it 1v1 and you can't run away because it chases you for so long. In most MMOs you've at least got some form of counterplay by running away, but it's not really an option here. Overall, Pantheon, despite being a very ugly looking game, actually surpassed my expectations once I gave it a chance, and I do think there's an audience for this style of MMO. EverQuest was a bit before my time, so it's probably not a game for me, but there's a few things the game does which I actually like. Crafting my full set of armor, climbing, and trying to navigate the world with no map, for example, was quite fun, and I did enjoy the feeling of mystery the game has. For me, I wish the game would present itself better visually. The UI in particular is probably the thing I'd want to see improved the most. But that's it for this video. Let me know what you think about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen.
All right, so I'm going to say, I think on the whole, I think that was a very fair review, given that it was early impressions, given that it's coming from someone that does not play these kinds of games. I think it was very fair. There are a couple of things that I don't agree with. I don't agree with everything that he said. I don't think the game is as ugly as he thinks it is. It's very subjective, but I also know how it's going to improve over time. And I think visually we will end up, when it's all said and done, in a good place, and in a place that will hopefully help Pantheon kind of stand the test of time a little bit in terms of its style. But with animation improvements, with lighting improvements, as we continue to get more visual effects in, more environmental effects in, I think the game is going to continue to look better and better. The UI complaints, I totally agree with. What else did he say? I can't remember. There are some things that, it's just the way that it is. Like, there's a lot of people that don't think we're going to have a map. We are going to have a map. It's just not going to be a mini map, and it's not going to be a GPS driven map. It's going to be the same way you would, unfurl a map in real life is the way that the maps in Pantheon will work. You'll be able to see, some topographical features and things like that kind of help you orient yourself a bit to the zone. There will be POIs that reveal themselves on your map as you discover them in game. So think about coming to Thronefast for the first time. You unfurl the in-game map. You see like kind of the outline of Thronefast and a couple of like topographical features. But as you move throughout the zone, once you go to Avelia and you actually discover Avelia and you see that cinematic text, on your screen of the village of Avelia or whatever, you'll see it appear on your map. And again, you won't have a GPS symbol, but you'll be able to slowly, as you learn the environments, you'll be able to kind of orient yourself where you're at. And that's at least the starting point, and we'll kind of see how it goes from there. And then, I would like to see the ability for players to add their own symbols and notes and stuff on the map as well. Animations will continue to be improved. That's going to make a big difference for sure. But yeah, it's given me some things to think about in terms of just the, for as many players as that are going to have a kind of experience like this, where maybe death penalty is new to them, travel time, corpse recovery is new to them, and the potential of someone having, multiple deaths and kind of, having a less smooth experience. It's just some interesting food for thought to think through that. Because what I loved about watching this is knowing that he is not super big on these types of games. And again, I'm not, not everybody's a fan of Lazy Peon. Not everybody, I understand there are different perspectives on like how meaningful this video is or whatever. But I try to kind of treat it all equally respectfully in terms of feedback. And what I thought was really interesting was in the beginning, just seeing the demeanor change. I thought that was really interesting. And I want to think, I just want to spend some time thinking through, like, even in light of some of the deaths earlier on, the energy was different than later in the video. And I think there's something there that I just want to kind of process and unpack a little bit. Because it's not that I don't think people can't get to a point where they can make peace with having some penalty or even enjoy it and the layer that it adds. Like it does, like it's so important. Like I will die on that hill that a death penalty is vital to making the world feel like formidable and worthy of respect. And you heard him talk about that. You heard him talk about how it added like the map situation, the death penalty, like the world was needed to be respected. It was dangerous. It was mysterious. Like there's something about that. Like I think that's really key. But I'm just curious to think about, how can we? Is there a way to better show new players how good it actually is, without, making them lose their light, the light in their eyes too quickly, kind of a thing. Sorry, I've missed a lot of notifications during this, guys. I apologize. Thank you all so much for the follows. Calico, you gifted a sub. Blinks BTW, Malzaron, Vagtastic, Evans Games, Washboard Scabs, Cinderel, Ola, Nostromus UK, Mr. Stoof, Huzzah, Vincent, Claxor, Michael Papabush, Johnny Two Shirts, Kel Damage, Drakenblade, Kraticus, Kryptonite, and Mr. MyClick. Thank you all so much for the follows. Thank you for being here. Zelius, thank you so much for the Prime and the 4 months of support. It is much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the bits. Quato says, thanks for giving a response on this as a developer. Your positive response and perspective is really nice to see. I appreciate the attention to new player experience while still catering to us old fans of graphical mods. Yeah, that is the part of the challenge, is navigating that. But this kind of stuff can be really insightful. And thank you for your message. I appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, don't MP your role in that space. Yeah. Guys, I need to wrap it up here. And being only a few days away from Christmas, this means that it'll be a little bit before I see you again. We'll get word of this patch out as soon as we nail down exactly when we're going to do it. I want to say thanks to Lazy Peon for the video. Not that he'll ever see this, but feels right to say it. I do appreciate it. Thank you to you all for being here and watching. The feedback is awesome. I typically, go back through these VODs and kind of, pull feedback that I may have missed during live as well, because there's so much good discussion and input here. So thank you all again so much for that. Have a wonderful time. For those of you that are celebrating Christmas, celebrating any of the holidays that are coming up. I hope that it's awesome. I hope that it's restful. And just get ready, because, the new year, especially once we get some rest, New Year's going to be popping. There's a lot to do. There's a lot that I'm excited to do. Not really. I'm going to need a couple of days just to get into rest mode. But yeah, I will see you guys soon. I'll let you know as soon as I know when the streams are going to start back up, and we'll keep on rolling. And I'll be popping in on streams here and there too as well. So I'll talk to you guys then for sure. Here and there. Let me find somebody to raid. Let's see. Jadion, here we go. You got some people incoming, so get ready. I'm gonna get this raid cooking, guys. Again, thanks so much. I will see you soon. Truly cannot thank you for the supports. Thank you enough for the support, the follows, the subs, the bits. You guys, you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Super Trash Garbage, thank you so much for that. But seriously, thank you for making this early access period so powerfully exciting. And we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep going. I'll see you guys soon. Until then, take care. Enjoy JD on stream. Give him some love. And we will talk soon. Adios.